The second step of the third alternative process is to get everyone's view of what success looks like. We call this step defining the criteria of success. To do this, you actively seek out different views about how to solve the problem. You start by going up to people and saying, "You have a different opinion. I need to listen to you," and then do it. This is an unnatural thing to do. Your instinct is to defend yourself against people who differ from you. So why should you go out of your way to really listen, to viewpoints you disagree with? For two reasons. First, you'll learn something. Second, you drain all the negative energy out of the conflict. Everybody has a slice of truth. No one has it all. As a third alternative thinker, you recognize that the more slices of truth you have, the more you see things as they really are. If you have truth that I don't have, why wouldn't I come and find you so you can teach me? It's not only natural, but essential for people to have different opinions. Dr. Covey often says that if two people have the same opinion, one of them is unnecessary. The second reason for listening deeply to the people you're having problems with is to drain the negative energy out of the conflict. People have a desperate need to be heard and understood. If you were suffocating right at this moment, you wouldn't care about anything except getting air now. But once you get your breath, the need has been satisfied. Like the need for air, the greatest psychological need of a human being is to be understood. When you listen to another person, you give that person psychological air. Only when that vital need is met can you focus on problem solving. Let me illustrate this principle with an actual story of two business leaders caught up in a serious dispute that had turned into a legal battle. One of them was our client. When he learned about seeking the third alternative, he decided to try it with his opponent in the lawsuit. He rang up the other party, who was also a company president, and asked if they could meet to discuss the situation. The other president didn't want to meet, but my friend explained what he was trying to do and why. "Listen," he said, I'm not going to bring my attorney. You can bring yours. And if your attorney counsels you not to say anything, then don't say anything." So on that basis, they agreed to meet. The man showed up with his attorney, and they all sat down at a conference table. Our client pulled out a writing pad and said, "First, I want to see if I understand your position in this suit." Hesitantly, the other man started to talk. He laid out the problem from his perspective, which had something to do with a dispute over product ownership. Our client just listened and made notes. At last he said, "Let me see if I've got it." He then restated as fully and completely as he could what the other man had said and asked, "Is that your position?" The man looked over his notes and said, Yes, that's it. But there are 2 points you're not clear about." The man's lawyer interrupted. "I don't think we need to go into all those details here." But surprisingly, the man turned to his lawyer and said, "I know I asked you to be here, but why don't we just try this?" And the other president carefully described his remaining 2 points. Our client wrote them down, restated them, and then asked, "Is that a complete and fair understanding of your position?" "Yes, it is." "Is there anything else I need to understand?" "No, that covers it." "Good," our client said. "Now, would you be willing to listen to me the way I've listened to you?" There was a pause. But then the man said, "Fire away." and a two-way dialogue began. At last, they began to understand each other's slices of truth. Several hours later, these two men emerged from that meeting with a third alternative, a solution to their problem that saved the relationship, avoided all the legal costs, and laid the foundation for better ways of working together in the future. The whole situation changed. Now, what do we learn from this experience about seeking third alternatives? We learn that it takes only one person in a dispute to say, "You see things differently. I need to listen to you." Our client listened carefully to understand the other man's criteria of success. What would be a win for him? By doing so, he earned the right to be heard in his turn. As they listened deeply to one another, understanding overcame all the negative energy, and at last, they were ready to go on to a third alternative. Can you think of situations where you could use this step to diffuse a conflict and get to understanding? In the next video, we'll show you how to take that next step to move forward and create third alternatives of your own.